Well, the question of how the company came to be, Ozark Mountain Publishing, and how Dolores came to be are two widely separate questions. The company itself started in 1992, and it was because Dolores had her book was published. Her first two books had been published already, and she was experiencing conflicts with that publisher. One day, her and Johnny got a phone call from the distributor who was handling those books and said, "We really want your books. Do whatever you need to make it happen so that we can get your books from you." I was like, "Okay." Then they looked at each other going, "How do we do that? What do we do?" And so my father started the company, Ozark Mountain Publishing. Like I said, it was in 1992. Um, did all the paperwork and all that good stuff. They asked me if I would come on board to help with the bookkeeping, whatever was needed, sending orders out, stuff. Hopefully, if that's the direction that the company was going. Um, and my connection is I'm their third kid. I'm the third of the girls, or I'm the last of the girls, and the third in the family of four. So I kind of been with her for a really long time, even outside of the company. I started at the end of March 1992. We got the first two books out, and they were, I mean, going wild. Shortly after that, the company came out with, I believe, like four more titles of Dolores's. She had spent her time, if she got upset about something, or like say she had sent books off to be hopefully picked up by a publisher, and if she got a rejection letter, instead of getting mad and throwing it against the wall, she'd sit down and write another book. That was her way of dealing with what was going on. So by the time the company came about, she already had several books basically ready to go to a printer and ready to go to the distributor. And thus was the beginning of Ozark Mountain Publishing. Dolores herself had started writing years before they discovered, or I guess you might say, just kind of fell into what past life regression is back in the mid 60s. And from that, that opened a window that Dolores was just super passionate about. She wanted to find out more and more about this. And so then after they moved to the Ozarks, she decided to find out how to do the hypnosis herself, and thus then started developing her own technique on how she worked with people, which was unlike what anybody else did. And then, of course, developed more books along the way. The company has now been in operation. See, what's that, about 29 years, I think? My math is not top of my head right now. And we've been located in the same location on top of Big Sandy and Huntsville, Arkansas. She never wanted to venture to the big city. Whenever she would take trips, her vocal point after her obligation was to get back home to her spot on top of the mountain. And so that's where the company has always been located and probably always will. Who knows what happens in the future? Along the way, people have also asked about, okay, didn't know that Ozark Mountain Publishing was involved with the Ozark UFO conference. And in 2013, we were approached by the people who were currently running the conference. For some reason, they weren't going to be able to continue it. And they wanted to know, would we be interested in taking it on? Well, Dolores had been involved since day one of the conference. Like this year is our 33rd conference, but we missed a year. So go back 34 years. And the first meeting they had in Eureka Springs, the first conference, you might say, was a total of 50 people. And they said, let's go from here. So each year, more people came and more people came. They had various speakers, and it was going constantly under the heading of Lou Farish. Well, him and mom were pretty close. And so she was always involved with the conferences. Then after he passed, there was another group or two that took on the conference. Like I said, for some reason, they weren't going to be able to continue. When Dolores got the news, she was like, absolutely. If, we'll find a way to make this go and to keep going. It was like the conference was also one of her babies, and she couldn't see closing the door on this. And so, even since her passing, that was one of the things that we said is definitely going to continue going, and that's the UFO conference. And we've gotten, gobs of thank yous from people saying, "We're so glad that you didn't let this die and that you're carrying on not just the conference, but also your mother's dream of the publishing company, helping authors out there get their feet wet, get their book out there, and spreading the knowledge." So I'm hoping that's something that will keep on going down the road. Oh, one of the things with people have asked, how are you coping with the current year the last couple of years situation with the COVID-19? Our conference with the publishing company, we're doing really good because we have already been in the virtual world with the internet for many, many years now. So everything, knock on wood, is going good and it's going to still go good. The conference was a little bit of a different story. It had always been an in person conference. We had introduced live streaming, but people still wanted the camaraderie of meeting new people, meeting old friends. It was like a gathering place for everybody to come together for a weekend and then go off on their lives again. So in 2020, COVID hits, and we're trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? Because the conference center can't allow that many people in there. So we had to cancel. Um, and then we're looking at 2020, 2021, and it looked like we were going to have to do it again. And then we're fretting, going, are we ever going to be able to do the conference again at all? And through the determination of different people, uh, the virtual conference is now going to be a virtual conference this year. We have a pretty smart guy that works for the company, and he found a platform that answered all the questions to be able to bring the conference to people. It is virtual, and so far everything is looking really good with it. The speakers we contacted were like, "I totally understand, and yes, I'm on board. If I don't know how to do it, I'll learn." And so Adnan has been a working force behind it and very, very patient with everybody while we tried to learn this new system. The teaching the old dog new tricks, namely me. So we're hoping that next year we will be able to be in person, but if not, we got our start with this new platform. So hopefully we're going to see as we say, see a lot of people there through the eyes of virtuality. Don't know if that's a word or not. This year, the conference, now we cut it down a day because it being virtual, we didn't have to include a few things, but it's going to be April 10th and 11th. The website, Ozark UFO Conference.com, will have all the information about our speakers that are going to be there, how to register for the conference. There's an email on there if you got any questions that will come back to the office. And we got some pretty good people there to answer any kind of question you've got. Hopefully, hopefully they're all going to know the answers. If not, they're going to find the people who do have the answers. With this being our first year being virtual, of course, it's all brand new to us, and we're all learning all the stages. And so we're hoping that our diehard attendees will give it a try. Check it out. It may not be as bad as you think, because people are kind of afraid to do things online. They all want in person, which I totally understand. I'm one of those people too. But after working with the system, it was so easy I went online, I bought a ticket, I registered, set my profile, and have my page ready to go so that when the conference starts, I just click in and start with our MC. Again, this year is going to be Forrest Crawford. And he too was very excited about giving this a whirl and seeing how it will go, what new adventures that he's going to be seeing as it goes along too. So I'm hoping that everybody takes the ride with us, take the adventure, and then next year we'll see what's happening and go with the flow again.